Shalom. Allah start out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash, double honors to the apostles and the elders of great millstone. Salutations to the Philet, disposition of truth, across four corners of all faith, truth, and sincerity. This I'm on about back on that sitting. Just gonna go into about the day of the Lord. People desire to want the Lord, who y'all call Jesus, real name in Hebrew is Yahushua. People, they want the Lord to return, but not knowing, they don't know the scriptures, or, don't understand spiritually, or, or like I said, don't even read the scriptures. They desiring the day of the Lord, but not knowing that the Lord Yahweh Yahushua, once he makes his return, it's gonna be a day of, darkness and judgment, and the only ones that the Lord Yahushua is gonna spare is the elect. The elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, which are the Israelites. If you're not part of that number, the 144,000, the elect, the 1/3. If you're not part of that number, you're gonna be destroyed. Even like I said before the Lord Yahshua returns, we have things going down. You got judgments going on now, but gonna get way more worse than what you see and what's going on now. So it's, we in those times, but when the Lord Yahshua returns, he's gonna turn. He ain't gonna do a lot of talking. It's gonna be a lot of judgment. You getting zapped. You getting zapped with those laser beams from the so-called UFOs, which are the chariots. And then I said ultimately the thermonuclear missile is gonna be shot towards America, Babylon the Great. And gonna burn all that what you see here. Be caught up in that that second death. If you are not part of that number if you're not part of the number of the Israelite, if you're not of the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Israelites. But I'm getting into it. Amos 5:18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness, is not light. So woe means destruction. So the destruction unto you that desire the day of the Lord, because what end is for you? So like I say, people that they desire the day of the Lord, not knowing at what end is it for you? You know what I'm saying? You gonna be delivered or you gonna be destroyed? And like I say, if you are not a part of that righteous number of the elect of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American Israelites, because salvation is only for the 144,000, the 1/3, the elect the Israelites. Not all Israel gonna be saved in this. The Lord Yahushua not gonna save all Israel in this time. Not gonna be delivered. You know what I'm saying? In this current world. Only the elect of the Israelites. 2/3 Israelites, gonna be getting judged. They're getting judged now. Judgment come down on 2/3 now. It's gonna get worse, but that's what's gonna come. That's what it is. Hopefully, me, myself, first and foremost, hopefully I'm part of righteous number to escape the wrath of judgment of Lord Yahushua in these times. But, that's what it is. That's the, you gotta understand it. Lord Yahushua, it ain't gonna be all sunshine and rainbows when he makes his return, right? But like I said, the day of the Lord is, the day of the Lord is darkness and not light. So it's gonna be, a lot of death and destruction gonna be coming about. Here in America, Babylon the Great, in the world. It's not gonna be a time of, well, for the elect, if you're that number, Lord Yahushua spare you. But for everybody else, it's gonna be, not good. It's gonna be a lot of, depressed, distress, a lot of mourning, weeping, crying. People out here gonna be, Like, you know what I'm saying, just dealing with, they got to deal with the judgments that the Lord Yahushua gonna bring down. You know, and like I say, you know, the example I was saying about, you know, Lord Yahushua gonna be zapping those that ain't of that number. That's, that you're not gonna be delivered. You know, you're not of that righteous number of the Israelite. You know, you're not of the 100 for the 4,000 1/3. You're gonna be getting zapped by the laser beam chariots with like the movie, for example, the War of the Worlds. If you know that movie with Tom Cruise, you know, it's gonna be like, you know, an example of that, you know. So that's what's gonna happen. But on this verse, Amos 5:19, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall and the serpent bit him. So, you know, you're gonna have, you know, people they're gonna be escaping this and that, you know, situations and these, you know, in these times going forward. You know, they're gonna be escaping judgment by the Lord Yahushua, but, you know, eventually you're gonna get caught. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna get, you know, you're gonna get judged by the Lord Yahushua. You know, so you're not gonna get away. You know, so you do try to flee, you know what I'm saying, from this judgment, that judgment, but eventually you're gonna get caught up. You know, that judgment gonna come to you. There's no escaping the wrath and judgment of the Lord Yahushua. If your time is your time, you know what I'm saying? So, and like I say, you Edomite doubles, you know what I'm saying, you bankers, you elites, you think that you're going to escape the wrath and judge the Lord Yahushua, you're not going to escape. Y'all going to get y'all judgment as well. But I'm going to Amos 5:20. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it? So like I said, the day of the Lord is going to be darkness, not light, even very dark. You know, the judgments of the Lord Yahushua. You know, like I say this like an example of, you know, when you had Moses, you know, the time of Moses when, you know, he told Pharaoh to release, you know, the Lord's people, the Israelites. He didn't want to, and the Lord Most High, Yahweh brought, you know, plagues upon Pharaoh. You know what I'm saying? And you know, one of those plagues was, you know, darkness came upon Egypt. You know, and you know, it was so dark that, you know what I'm saying, you couldn't see your hand in front of you. You know, it was just that like you could feel the darkness. Like, that's how, you know, crude, that's how really serious it was. Like, the Lord Yahweh, Most High Yahweh, when he brought that plague, you know, it was serious, man. Then, like I said, the firstborn getting killed, you know, and like, you know, that plague, but, you know, that's how it gonna be, man. The Lord Yahweh, you know, he gonna bring that judgment down, man. America Babylon the Great, which is modern day Egypt, Babylon, you know, is, you know, that's what's gonna come about, you know. So it's gonna be very, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be, you know, the grid could go out, the power could go out for good. You know what I'm saying? You gotta deal with the darkness, man. You know? However it come about, it could definitely happen. You know what I'm saying? Mostly it could, because I said America's grid is infrastructure grid is not strong at all. You know, it ain't been updated. You know, so, you know, something that major could happen could just knock the whole grid out. You know, it's over with. You're just in total darkness. You know, so it's coming, man. You know, that's what's coming. But go to the next verse. Amos, well, no, next chapter, not next verse. Zephaniah 1:14. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near. Hasten greatly. Even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Excuse me. The mighty man shall cry there bitterly. So, yeah, so the great day of the Lord is near. You know, the day of the Lord knows hasten greatly is coming. You know, the Lord Yahushua is gonna make his return eventually. You know, and, you know, it's coming. You know, the days are flying by. So that tell you, you know, the time is speeding up. You know, speeding up faster than, you know, usual. That's how you know Lord Yahushua gonna make his return. And those that, you know, see the Lord Yahushua when he makes his return, gonna cry that bitterly, man. It's gonna be, You know, you gotta have men that, you know, think they're all tough, but really when that time comes, they gonna fold, you know, because how bad it's gonna get. If the loyal shot is not with you in times of all hell breaking loose in America, Babylon Great, you know, ain't no power, you know, you know, it's gonna get bad. You gonna see things that you know you'll see in the movie. It's gonna be ain't gonna be no movies. It's gonna be real life. You know that you gotta deal with. You know, real situation. You know, it's in your face now. You know, so but don't go to the next verse. Zephaniah 1:15. The day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wastiness, a desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. So it's a day of wrath, man. You know, Lord Yahweh know it's a day of wrath. A day of trouble and distress, man. And people gonna be in distress. You know, and like I said, we know times numbers gonna get worse. So people gonna be more in distress, man. You know, this ain't nothing yet. You know, it's things are happening. You know, but it's gonna ramp up more. The Lord outside, it's gonna ramp up the judgments more and more. And then say it's gonna get so bad to where, like I said, the power go out, grid. You know what I'm saying? Power. You know, internet, no more internet, nothing. And it's gonna be just. It'll be a complete, just like say you just in darkness. You know. You know what I'm saying, you gotta try to defend for yourself and yours, you know, because people are gonna get desperate for food. You know what I'm saying, the lack of food, that could come about. The lack of food that's gonna come about. So famine. You know what I'm saying, people are gonna be out here to die of starvation. You know, you're gonna have people out there. Not only that, people gonna be out here, eating people. Cannibalism is gonna come about. That's how desperate it's gonna be, because there ain't gonna be no food around in the cities. You know, so that's what's gonna come about, man. You know, go in this verse, Zephaniah 1:16. A day of the trumpet, an alarm against the fenced cities, against the high towers. So, like I say, when those missiles get shot towards America, Babylon the Great, you know, gonna hear those sirens going off, man. You know, and you know those missiles coming down towards America by Babylon the Great. Next verse, Zephaniah 1:17. I will bring distress upon men that shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord Yahweh Shah, the Lord Yahweh Shah, and their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as dung. So, that's what's gonna happen. You know, people gonna be people gonna, you know, I said, the women and men gonna be in distress. They're gonna be, everything that they work for, and all the money and all that shit, the material things they have ain't gonna be about shit. Cause the money and the paper dollar ain't gonna be worth shit. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, like I said, that the MOTB, the RFID chip, which is the MOTB, you're gonna have to take that to buy and sell. And you got people out there putting out the wrong understanding about the Revelation 13 and 16. On down, you gotta understand, like, it's plain, like, they be trying to, just trying to, like, twist and, just trying to add something that ain't, it's plain and simple. Understanding of it, just like, it's being broken down to you, like, RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, it gotta be something that you gotta put inside of you, in your right hand, on your forehead, to buy and sell. It ain't a cell phone. Everybody got a cell phone. So how can the MOTB, the mark of the beast, be a cell phone? That's not correct. That's off. It's just plain and simple. You gotta have something that RFID chip, that gotta have that chip that gotta be inserted into your skin, into your body. To buy and sell. Once that time comes, once it's made mandatory for you to buy and sell, you gotta have it. It was a movie that showed that, but I can't think of it no more. I don't know if it's out. I don't know if it post came out, didn't come out. I don't know. I can't remember. I know I saw a clip of it, but I remember seeing that clip of it, and the woman, she walked into the gas station, store, whatever it was, gas station store, what you want to call it, one of those stores. And, she said, I got a card, though. Some she said she got. I don't know if it was a cash card, some she had in her hand. One of those she had in her hand. But the guy at the restaurant said, "Nah, you gotta have this. Do you got this?" She said, "What is that?" So this is what you gotta buy and sell with now. You gotta buy with buy and sell with this. And she was like, "What?" And like she didn't know nothing about it. She wasn't hip to it. Nobody put her on, so she got to find out by that way by a gas station clerk. You know what I'm saying? That had that was at the register telling them about it. Like nobody else wasn't even telling her about it. So it was just like she was just caught off guard about it. So like I say, that could happen. Like I said, people would just walk into the store, and I say we're not accepting cash, we're not accepting the cards. You gotta have the chip for you to buy and sell. That's gonna come about once things start to get once food start to get like real low in these stores or whatever it may be. You gotta have it, to buy and sell. Once that come about, however it goes about, come down to that situation, so it's gonna come down to that. It gonna catch a lot of people gonna be caught off guard because they think that this cash money is gonna help them out when that time comes. No, it's not. I say because the RFID chip is the mark of the beast. You gotta have it inside of you. It ain't no cell phone. So, but yeah, but those stubborn, but the loyal shotgun, you know what I'm saying? Once he returned the chair, suck all your foes, and then I say the thermonuclear missile be shot towards America, Babylon the Great, gonna burn up everything that you see here. Everybody's gonna get burnt up. Everything in America is gonna be destroyed. It's gonna be nothing but a wasteland here in America, Babylon the Great. That's the future for America, Babylon the Great. And different other countries as well. But America, Babylon the Great, gonna be completely destroyed. And not the whole earth. Whole earth is not gonna be destroyed. It's gonna be just America, Babylon the Great, and some other countries like Russia. They're gonna get destroyed. Get hit with missiles. Because America gonna fire missiles back as well. But America, Babylon the Great, gonna get completely wiped out, completely destroyed, burnt up. Ain't gonna be nothing left here. But says Zephaniah 1:18, neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. For he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. So yeah, so neither your silver, gold, like I said, these Jakes out here flashing their money, these Israelites out here flashing their money, or these billionaires, whatever, they got money and shit like that, it's not going to deliver them, right? They silver, gold, nothing. It's not going to deliver you from the Lord's wrath. Because if the Lord Yahweh want America to be destroyed, he wants the America to be destroyed. Everything going to be burnt up and destroyed by the thermonuclear missiles. By the chairs of the Lord Yahweh returns. Everything going to be burnt up by the fire. Which is the second death. You know what I'm saying? Gonna be a speedy riddance. And not gonna be, it gonna be Lord Yahweh gonna completely just wipe this out in no time. That fire gonna come sweeping in, rushing from the thermonuclear missiles, It's gonna burn up everything here. Kinda like for example, how you see the end of Knowing, the movie Knowing with what's it, Nicolas Cage, if I'm saying it, that's his name correct. If I'm correct about his name, Nicolas Cage, the actor. If you know the movie called Knowing, at the end of it, you saw that fire just coming, sweeping towards America. That's how those thermonuclear missiles gonna be coming down America and sweeping, and everything gonna be burnt up. And everybody's seeing it, and you see at the end of it, everybody's seeing the fire coming for them. At the end of the movie, they based off that the sun gonna burn them up. The sun was gonna burn up the whole earth, but that's not gonna be the case. It's gonna be by the thermonuclear missiles that's gonna sweep Babylon the Great is gonna burn up Babylon the Great. It's not gonna burn up the whole earth. It's not, excuse me, not gonna burn up the whole earth. But you seen at the end of it, everybody seen, hey, they know they're about to die. They seen that fire coming towards them. There's nothing they could do. So that's what's coming, man. Whether you believe it or not. The Lord Yahweh words don't lie. The apostles, Elzebub, Raymond Stone, they teach the word of the Lord Yahweh. They give you understand the word of scriptures is it's true through the spirit power of the Lord Yahweh, because the Lord Yahweh, he dealing with great men stone, men Lord, great men stone, but so I just want to go into that, man. Hey, that's the future of America, Babylon the Great. That's ahead for America, Babylon the Great. Nothing but death and destruction, and gonna be destroyed. Lord Yahweh gonna return, destroy everything here in America, Babylon the Great, man. We in those times of Lord Yahweh bringing judgment now. It's gonna get worse. So I just want to go into that. So again, like our present glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh. Excuse me. Again, like our present glory to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh by Hashem Kakadash. To the apostle elders, to the sisters and brothers, to the free alcohol sisters that do listen. Keep the faith in Yahweh. Keep fighting. Let's say shalom.